Hi, in part one of this series on live looping with Ableton Live 12, I set up this effects rack here which allowed you to capture live audio, loop it, affect it with different various effects, have different scenes which you could switch between. My goal was to try and emulate the Octatrack live looping behavior where you capture incoming live audio, loop it, manipulate it, switch between various effects scenes, and then blend back into the live audio without anybody in the audience knowing what had happened. I'll leave a link to that video up here because I'm not going to explain how to build this effects rack here. I'll also leave a link in the description. Let's just have a listen to what's possible now, because I've refined my original idea. I've found a way of integrating a slider here. You can see I'm using the mouse here to move a slider between different channels in Ableton Live. I think first thing, just have a look and have a listen to what it can do. For full disclosure, I'm not a live performer, and I am doing this with the mouse, so I don't have full control, which is an interesting point because if you press Control M on Windows or Command M on Mac, you could MIDI map this controller. You can MIDI map the mute states in Ableton Live. So you could MIDI map these functions here, or the macros, if you wanted to. So with the right MIDI controller, you could set this all up to be a really quite effective looping device, hands-on looping device. Anyway, let's have a listen. Once we finish listening, I'll explain how to set up this device in Ableton Live 12. Okay, let's have a look quickly what's actually going on here. In this example, I have 3 channels, 2 audio channels, one with a drum loop here, another with a ticking sound, and then on the 3rd channel I have a MIDI instrument. I have a channel here for audio capture so that I can capture the mixes. I'm using, in this case, to record the audio for this video, but you could use it via resampling to capture the audio that you play live or whatever. Then I have the submix. Now the submix is the center to the whole device. You have here your 3 channels, and they don't go with their audio to the main mix. They actually go to the sub mix, so you can select that here. Instead of main out, it's on sub mix. And these 3 channels come into the sub mix here. This then uses the send of the sub mix to send the audio in parallel to the looping device here, which we've created. So audio is coming out of the send into the looper, where it can be captured, manipulated, etc. The submix sends its audio to the main out. Now, how does it then work? Well, the fader in Ableton, which you can see down here, allows you to mix between 2 channels, and it also allows you to mix between a send and the main channel. So you can see here that I've assigned the submix to A, which is the left side of the fader. There are various options here for the fader. You can have a look in the manual how you set it up, different curves for how the fader works. But basically on the left side here we have A, a little bit like the Octatrack. On the right side we have B. So I can mix between these 2 channels. I can mix between the submix going out and the looper here. Let's just get a little tick going. I hope this... Maybe we'll turn it down a little bit before we go mad. And so you can see at present it's coming out on the looper side. If I blend across, it now comes out in mix. And so just like the Octatrack, I can blend between these 2. If I go to this side, the looper side, which is set up on B, let's click that, I can capture this. I've captured that audio, can reverse it. Now, while I'm on B, I can bring back the drum beat. When I blend over, I have the 2 audio streams. This also enables me to set things up in advance. Let's clear this for a second, mute those again, because I have this series of different macro states which I've created here, which are effectively scenes on the Octatrack. I can start with, let's say, we'll stay with a tick, that's easy on the ears. Bring that back in. I can start on the left here with the dry mix signal. I can set up my looper over here. Before I move over, I can set it to one of the scenes. I'm not recording any loops here, but as I move it over, I introduce the effect into the audio. I could then make a loop of that. Then we no longer hear the A side of the fader until I blend across. I'll turn that off again, clear that. So let's just go back to the audio come in. I have a beat repeat here, so I can introduce beat repeat. I have various scenes which I've set up. I think it's clear how it works. There we go. So one more example then, how 1 minute you have a loop going. Then you blend back to your original signal, you clear your looper, you put on a different effect, you capture that, you now set up your track to play back, you blend back in. So as I say, clear that. Okay, so let's have a look then at how this is set up. I believe it's compatible with Ableton Live Intro Standard and Suite. I'm not too familiar with the previous versions of Ableton 11, 10, 9, etc. Best to check for yourselves. So I've opened a new session in Ableton. I've added an extra audio channel here which is capturing the audio. Perhaps you were doing a performance or a mixdown or whatever. I've selected here resampling, I've selected monitor in, and I've armed the channel, so that's all ready to go. We can effectively ignore that now. We'll just close that up a little bit so we can concentrate on the rest. I'll actually get that going. Right, so this is what you typically see when you open a session. We have a reverb, a delay. Well, we can delete the delay, we don't need that channel. We'll just work with a single audio channel and a single MIDI, I think, to make it a little bit quicker. The other audio channel we will keep because that's going to be, and we can rename that now, that's going to be our submix. These ones here, the audio needs to be rerouted here. Audio to main needs to go now to our submix. We don't have an instrument on the MIDI channel, so we can't select this at the moment. So let's drop something simple in here, just that'll do, clang. Drop the instrument here. This now allows us to select our submix. So these are both going for our submix. We then want to reduce on our, so we need to set up our submix a little bit. We need to reduce the level here by about 6 decibels. You can see that on the bottom left of the screen. We'll take that down by 6 decibels. We have the audio coming in. We'll use this send here to go to our channel here, which we're now going to rename looper. We will also adjust here the level by 6 decibels so that it matches the submix, so they're equal. We need to get our fader set up now. So if we go to view and scroll down mixer controls, you will see crossfader here. So now it appears on the main mix. We have AB appearing here at the bottom of each channel. For the looper we will select B, which means B is, if I move this across, that's to the right side of the fader. And for the submix I will select A, which is the left side of the fader, and anything in between is a mix. We should really, on our main, I typically have a compressor here, but in this instance, to keep it short, I'll just put a limiter on so that we don't have any issues with levels. On our looper page, we no longer need the reverb, that can be deleted. What we need is, well, I have in the user library, I have my own template set up, live looper. If you want to, once you've set one of these up in your template, if you don't know, just click here and then you can create a new preset for this entire effect and save it into your user library. Okay, so we have a MIDI instrument here, we have audio, we need some sound here, so let's choose breakbeat. We'll drop that one in there, that'll do. So we have audio here, we have our submix set up. Hopefully we haven't adjusted our send now, we'll do that now. We'll just do that very gently. Let's get the audio playing. You need to select your monitor in, on your submix. So once you have your monitor in, then you have your audio coming in here. And if we open our send up now, we'll hear nothing. The next thing we have to do is on the main channel here, this is important, we have to select pre-fader so that we capture the audio before the fader. And now, if we blend across, we are now hearing what's coming through this channel. We're not hearing what's coming through the submix, that's been switched off. So I should now be able to capture this. Everything goes to plan. Reverse it. Oh, that's working well. If I clear that, we'll just hear the raw audio again. So let's do that again. Capture another loop. Now we can switch off this, or here. Nothing. We've switched off. So we're literally hearing the loop. Okay, we'll switch that back on. We'll blend across. Select an effect. And capture a new loop. We now mix between our original audio source and the loop. I think I've explained the rest previously in the video. I'll say, have fun as always. Thanks for coming by again. I hope this has been useful. Thank you.